Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today's Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Today I'm going to go over yesterday's Major League Baseball results and look ahead to today's games. I'll do my NBA. I'll paint my flag. The Masked Singer starts tonight. I'll predict who may be on the show. We'll talk a little Survivor 2, news and notes, and best bet. So, short show today. Major League Baseball, we'll talk about the results from yesterday and look ahead to today's games. Doubleheader Game 1, Dodgers over the Diamondbacks 6-5. The Dodgers are 103-44. Arizona 68-80. Getting the win was Ryan Papwai, the loss. Kevin Ginkel and the save. Chris Martin. Red Sox over the Reds 5-3. The Red Sox are 72-75. The Reds are 58-90. Getting the win, Brayan Bello. The loss, Nick Lodolo and the save. John Schreiber. Cubs over the Marlins 2-1. The Cubs are 63-85. Miami 61-88. Getting the win was Adbert Alzolay. The loss, Stephen Okert, and the save, Brandon Hughes. Astros over the Rays 5-0. The Astros are 98-51. Tampa 82-66. Christian Javier the win. Shane McClanahan the loss, and Ryan Presley the save. Blue Jays over the Phillies, 18-11. That's like a football score. Toronto 84-64. Philly 80-67. Zach Pop the win. Kyle Gibson the loss. That was some game in Philly. Tigers over the Orioles 3-2. The Tigers are 57-91. Baltimore's 76-91. Getting the win was Joey Wentz. The loss, Austin Voth, and the save, Gregory Soto. Yankees come back from 4 down in the bottom of the ninth and knock off the Pirates 9-8 on a walk-off grand slam by Giancarlo Stanton. Yankees are 89-58. Pittsburgh's 55-93. Aroldis Chapman the win. Will Crowe the loss. And Aaron Judge hits his 60th home run during that ninth inning comeback. Braves over the Nationals 3-2. So best bet was a big loser. Atlanta 93-55. Washington 51-97. Charlie Morton the win. Getting the loss was Erasmo Ramirez and the save, Kenley Jansen. Mets over the Brewers 7-5. The Mets 95-55. Milwaukee 78-70. Getting the win was Joely Rodriguez. The loss, Taylor Rogers. And the save, Edwin Diaz. Angels over the Rangers 5-2. The Angels are 65-83. Texas 63-84. Pablo Sandoval the win. Dennis Santana the loss. And getting the save was Jimmy Herget. Guardians over the White Sox 10-7 in 11 innings. Cleveland's 81-67. Chicago 76-72. Emmanuel Clase the win, and Jake Dykeman the loss. Royals over the Twins 5-4. The Royals 58-89. Minnesota 73-75. Getting the win was Dylan Coleman the loss. Michael Fulmer to save, Scott Barlow. Giants over the Rockies 6-3. The Giants are 71-77. Colorado 64-84. Taylor Rogers the win. Kyle Freeland the loss. And Harleen Garcia the save. Athletics over the Mariners 4-1. The A's are 54-94. Seattle 81-66. J.P. Sears the win. Luis Castillo the loss. And Domenico Acevedo the save. Padres over the Cardinals 5-0. The Padres 82-66. St. Louis 87-62. Mike Clevenger to win. Adam Wainwright the loss. And doubleheader game 2. The Diamondbacks over the Dodgers 5-2, which I called on the podcast, by the way. Arizona 69-80. Dodgers 103-45. Drew Jamison the win. Tyler Anderson the loss. And Reyes Maranta the save. Okay, now I look ahead to today's games. 12:20 of the Nats at the Braves. Paolo Espino and Bryce Edler. The Braves are minus probably 330. Or no, only minus 270. Nats are plus 220 over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Nats plus 1.5 is plus 112. Braves minus 1.5 is minus 134. For this game, I'm going to go with the first half. I'm going to go first half total under 4.5 runs plus 112. Both these guys haven't been that terrible this year. 2 o'clock, Mets Brewers. Mets going for the sweep. Taijuan Walker and Adrian Hauser. Brewers are plus 114. Mets are minus 134. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Mets minus 1.5 is plus 126. Brewers plus 1.5 is minus 152. For this game, I'm going to go with the Mets first half run line minus a half at plus 104. 6:30 Red Sox Reds. Connor Siebold and Chase Anderson. Red Sox minus 168. Reds plus 142. Over under 10. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Red Sox minus 1.5 is minus 108. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 111. I'm going with the Reds are plus 142 to win outright over the Red Sox. They're 52.3% according to ESPN Analytics. Reds in the over would be a fun same gamer. Cubs Marlins. Marcus Stroman and Jesus Luzardo. Marlins minus 124. Cubs plus 106. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 215. Marlins minus 1.5 is plus 176. For this one, I'm going to go with the Marlins. The Cubs at plus 106 is an underdog. Astros Rays, Lance McCullers Jr. and Corey Kluber. Astros minus 126, Rays plus 108, over under 7, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 136, Rays plus 1.5 is minus 164. This is a tough one. But I'm going to go with the first half under 3.5 at even money. Blue Jays Phillies at 6:45. Kevin Gausman and Zach Wheeler. Phils minus 112. Blue Jays minus 104 over under 8.5. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Blue Jays minus 1.5 is plus 158. Phils plus 1.5 is minus 192. So Blue Jays favored on the run line. Phillies favored on the money line. I'm going with the Phillies minus 112. They're 56.2% to win according to ESPN Analytics. 7 o'clock, you have the Tigers at the Orioles. Matt Manning and Jordan Lyles. Orioles minus 162. Tigers plus 136. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 115. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 146. Orioles minus 1.5 is plus 122. For this game, I'm going to go with the over 8.5 at minus 105. Don't feel good about it, though. Pirates Yankees. Roansy Contreras and Luis Severino. So Severino coming back from the injury. He's a minus 310 favorite. The Pirates are plus 250 over under 7.5, minus 110 each way. Pirates plus 1.5 is plus 118. Yankees minus 1.5 is minus 142. Part of me wants to pick the Pirates outright so bad at plus 250. But I don't have the guts to do it. Because ESPN Analytics pretty much is in line with Vegas. And I love Roansy Contreras. Pittsburgh got him in the Jameson Taillon deal from the Yankees. This is a little bit of a revenge spot for him. So instead, I'm going to go first half result, Pirates plus 320. Yankees will still win the game, though. 8 o'clock, you have the Angels at the Rangers. Tucker Davidson and Dane Dunning. Rangers minus 148, Angels plus 126, over under 8.5, overs minus 108, unders minus 112. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 70, Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 140. I'm going to take the over. Guardians White Sox, Tristan McKenzie and Lance Lynn. Guardians plus 120, White Sox minus 142, over under 7.5, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Guardians plus 1.5 is minus 184, White Sox minus 1.5 is plus 152. I do think there's some value with the Guardians at plus 120. Deflating loss last night for the White Sox. But I am going to go with the over 7.5 and minus 114, but I don't feel good about it. Twins Royals, Bailey Ober and Daniel Lynch. The Twins are minus 142, Royals are plus 120, over under 7.5, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Twins minus 1.5 is plus 116. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 138. Over. Giants Rockies at 8:30. Logan Webb and Herman Marquez. Giants minus 136. Rockies plus 116. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Giants minus 1.5 is plus 114. Rockies plus 1.5 is minus 137. I'm going to go with the under. I think Logan Webb pitches well enough for it to go under. 9:30 Mariners A's. Robbie Ray, James Kaprielian. Mariners minus 215. A's plus 180. Over under 7. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Mariners minus 1.5 is minus 120. A's plus 1.5 is even money. I'm going with the A's run line at even money. I don't think they'll win again, but they'll be competitive. Cardinals Pirates. Miles Mikolas and Blake Snell. Padres minus 132. Cardinals plus 112. Over under 7.5. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Cards plus 1.5 is minus 192. Padres minus 1.5 is plus 158. I think there's some value on St. Louis. I'm going to go with the Cardinals plus 112 outright. And last but not least, Diamondbacks Dodgers at 10. Madison Bumgarner and Dustin May. The Dodgers minus 310. The D-backs are plus 250 over under 8.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. D-backs plus 1.5 is plus 120. Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 144. I like the over in this game. Bumgarner's just washed. All right, now I'm going to do NBA's edition of I'll Paint My Flag. No, I'm not going to do it in the style of power rankings because I want to save the preseason power rankings for before the season starts because a lot can change, obviously. So I'm going to do it in alphabetical order by team. We'll start the Atlanta Hawks. I'll paint my flag that Clint Capella will be benched at some point. There's a lot of rumors about Russell Westbrook being benched for the Lakers. But I'm going to say at some point during the season, Clint Capella won't be starting for the Hawks and will be coming off the bench. The Boston Celtics. I'll paint my flag that Jaylen Brown will be in trade rumors. They haven't extended him yet. He's going to be a free agent, I believe, after the 2024 season, if I'm not mistaken. And because that they almost dealt him for Kevin Durant, or thought about it at least, tells me that he could end up in trade rumors this season. The Brooklyn Nets. I'll paint my flag that there will be multiple weird stories that come out involving the big three of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons. I just think that this team is still going to be a dysfunctional mess. Even though Durant's back, things are awkward because he undid his trade request. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a little awkward in Brooklyn. The Charlotte Hornets. I'll paint my flag that they'll have a 15 defense. Steve Clifford's back in the fold. He's a defensive coach. I think he'll get them to play defense. The Chicago Bulls. I'll paint my flag that Nikola Vucevic will be traded this season. Vucevic, obviously, he's been in trade rumors. The Bulls were in the Gobert conversation. This trade for Vucevic hasn't worked out. They gave him multiple lottery picks for him. And I think Chicago will admit their mistake and trade him. The Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll paint my flag that they'll produce multiple All-Stars once again. I think they could get up to 3 All-Stars. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland that all make it. I can't wait to watch the Cavs this year. The Dallas Mavericks. I'll paint my flag that Luka Doncic will lead the league in scoring. I think this is a no-brainer. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's the only person on the team that averages more than 20 points per game. Like, he's so good, and his supporting cast is so bad. The Denver Nuggets. I'll paint my flag that they will have less than 5 home losses. I think they're going to have a monster home court advantage this year. Their team's going to be back and healthy and better than ever. And the altitude affects teams. And I'd be surprised if they lost 5 or more home games this year, barring injuries. The Detroit Pistons. I'll paint my flag that Cade Cunningham makes the All-Star team. I think Cade will have a big year 3. He is so fun to watch. Or, I'm sorry, it'd be year 2 for Cade, right? But I love Cade Cunningham. I think the Pistons are going to be improved. Year 2. That's my mistake. But I think that he'll be on the All-Star team this year. The Golden State Warriors. I'll paint my flag that Jonathan Kuminga will be the darling most improved player pick. Everybody loves his upside. I think the team wants Kuminga to have an opportunity to play. And he'll be the darling pick for that award. The Houston Rockets. I'll paint my flag that both Jabari Smith and Jalen Green average over 15 points per game. I think they'll make a promising young duo. Yeah, they'll be bad, but their team will be bad, but they'll be fun to watch. The Indiana Pacers. I'll paint my flag that the team will enter the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. They still have a lot of tradable players on that team. I think that Buddy Hield could be had in a deal. I think that Tyrese Halliburton's a keeper. And that's pretty much it. Miles Turner's still on this team for the time being. So, I think that they'll trade Turner. They'll trade Buddy Hield. Maybe they'll sit Halliburton because of a fake injury, and they'll go for Victor Wembanyama. Los Angeles Clippers. I'll paint my flag that Kawhi Leonard will not play in back-to-backs this season. I just think that they'll rest him on back-to-back legs that in which they play a lesser opponent, and then they'll have him play against a more inferior opponent. But if they're national TV games, I know they're going to get killed for it, but it's the right thing to do. The Los Angeles Lakers. I'll paint my flag that Russell Westbrook gets traded, then bought out. Maybe it's to the Jazz for a bunch of picks a bunch of picks going with Westbrook for Bogdanovic and Jordan Clarkson and like players like that. Or maybe it's to New York for Julius Randle, a bunch of picks. Or no, a bunch of picks going to New York with Westbrook for Julius Randle, Derrick Rose, and Evan Fournier. And then the Knicks buy him out. But we'll see. The Memphis Grizzlies. I'll paint my flag that the team takes a step back this season, but will still be in the top 6 in the West. I almost want to say top 4, but I think there's a possibility that they don't have home court if things break right for, say, the Clippers and some other teams. Obviously, Denver is going to be in the top 4. Golden State's probably going to be in the top 4. But I don't think it's a lock that Memphis is top 4. The Miami Heat. I'll paint my flag that they will not be a top 4 seed in the East this season. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they're 6th in the East. And dare I say, I want to see what their odds are for the play-in tournament. Because you could argue, obviously Milwaukee will be in the top 6. Brooklyn's going to be in the top 6, I think. I could be wrong on that. Philly will be in the top 6, barring injury. I think that Boston's obviously going to be in the top 6. Cleveland's going to be in the top 6. I mean, what if R.J. Barrett makes a massive leap and Julius Randle reverts back into the player from 2 seasons ago and Jalen Brunson has this big impact and New York slides into the top 6? Toronto, what if Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam are amazing and carry the Raptors to a top 6 seed? I mean, Miami to the play-in game would be something. That's something I want to bet on. But I don't know if it'll actually happen or not. The Milwaukee Bucks. I'll paint my flag that Giannis Antetokounmpo will have his best season yet. I love Giannis and the Bucks this season. I think they have an excellent shot to win their second championship in a 3-year span. And Giannis is still the best player in the world, in my opinion. Not LeBron, not Durant, not Luka, Giannis. And not Curry either. As much as I love Stephen Curry. And love watching him. And I love watching the other guys I just mentioned. But Giannis is still the best player in the world. Minnesota Timberwolves. I'll paint my flag that Rudy Gobert has a big defensive impact on this team. But the team will still get hate for that trade. Rudy Gobert's impact on this team will not change my opinion on the trade. I'm sorry. They overpaid. You can't convince me otherwise. But I do think Gobert will be great. The New Orleans Pelicans. I'll paint my flag that Zion Williamson has a huge comeback season and will prove to be the second best player from this draft behind John Morant. The New York Knicks. I'll paint my flag that R.J. Barrett will prove to be the third best player from his draft, exactly where he's drafted, and will make the All-Star team. I mean, you could argue he's the second best player from this draft behind John Morant. But I think he's the third. And Darius Garland's fourth. And I love Garland. And Garland had a better year than Barrett and Zion last year. Well, Zion didn't even play. But I think Garland could take a step back this year because of the arrival of Donovan Mitchell. And they want to feature Mobley more. But that's not a bad thing. But I think R.J. Barrett makes a huge jump this year and makes the All-Star team. And will probably be the favorite for most improved player. The Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll paint my flag that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will request a trade. I think that he's the next big star to be on the market. OKC, obviously, Chet Holmgren out for the season, although I think they're doing that for getting to the Victor sweepstakes. So SGA will request a trade. The Orlando Magic. I'll paint my flag that Paolo Banchero will be Evan Mobley light. He'll have just as an impact as Mobley did his rookie season. I don't know if Orlando makes the playoffs or even the play-in tournament, but Banchero will be amazing. The Philadelphia 76ers. I'll paint my flag that James Harden will look different. I don't think he'll be as bad as he was in the postseason for Philly this past season. Or obviously as bad as he was when he quit on the Nets and when he quit on the Rockets. But I don't think he'll be as good as he was in his peak Houston years or even that stretch he had in Brooklyn. So I'm going to say he looks different, but will be productive. A la Chris Paul through the last several years. The Phoenix Suns. I'll paint my flag that they will not be a top 4 seed in the West. I don't think they have a realistic shot of being in the play-in like the Heat. But I want to see what those odds are for the play-in. So the case for them to be in the play-in will be Denver, obviously, is amazing. Kawhi plays in back-to-backs, and the Clippers are what people dream of them to be. Memphis is still really good. Minnesota makes a jump. The Lakers are better than expected. Golden State stays healthy and is Golden State. And Luka carries the Mavericks to a top 6 seed. So it would be Mavs, Clippers, Denver, Lakers. So it would be the 2 LA teams, Golden State, Denver, Memphis, Minnesota, Dallas. But yeah, then they remove the Lakers then. It has to be 6 of those 7. Just even if it's not the Lakers, if it's those other 6 teams, then that's the case for Phoenix in the play-in. So I think it might be realistic that they're a play-in team. But I just don't think they'll be a top 4 seed in the West. I think the plan would have been more realistic if DeAndre Ayton wasn't brought back. The Portland Trailblazers. I'll paint my flag that this team will improve their win total by double-digit games. I really think there's a chance they win 40 games this year. Damian Lillard's back. They improved their team getting Jeremy Grant, and obviously they have Anthony Simons, who made a jump last year. So I think that they are an improved team. The Sacramento Kings. I'll paint my flag that both De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis will both average over 20 points per game. I think the Sabonis trade rejuvenated Fox, and I think Sabonis is an excellent offensive center. The San Antonio Spurs. I'll paint my flag that Jakob Poeltl will be traded. I certainly do believe that. San Antonio is going all in for Victor Wembanyama, so bye-bye Jakob Poeltl. The Toronto Raptors. I'll paint my flag that one of their core players will be traded within the next 9 months. So, it could, in theory, be in the offseason or in the draft. Because we're in September. 9 months from now is June 21st. And the finals will be ending. We'll be talking about the draft. And I don't know if it'll be at that point or even in the season where who knows, maybe they want to go for a star. Maybe SGA is available and they want to trade for SGA to pair him up with Fred VanVleet in the backcourt. Maybe Anthony Davis is available and the Lakers fall apart. Maybe they want to go for him. But I think a core player on this team will be traded, whether it's for a star or if they falter in the postseason and try to go the other way in the 23-24 season. So that's why I say 9 months. The Utah Jazz. I'll paint my flag that this team won't approach 20 wins. Heck, I wouldn't be stunned if they didn't approach 15 wins. Obviously, Bojan Bogdanovic, Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley. They have a lot of tradable players on this team. The Lakers are going to be interested in all of them. The Knicks may be interested in some. The Clippers are going to be interested. The Celtics are definitely going to be interested, and definitely in Bogdanovic. So, we'll see. And I think Miami's going to play for some of those guys, even the Raptors, Brooklyn, Philly, Minnesota. You could just go down the list of teams. Memphis, Golden State. Everybody wants those guys that are available in Utah. Definitely Bogdanovic, though. That's the guy for me. That's going to change somebody's outlook. And last but not least, the Washington Wizards. I'll paint my flag that Bradley Beal will not be traded. Because of that hefty contract. And who knows, maybe nobody wants him. Or maybe the Wizards want to keep him so bad. But I'm going to say that come the 2023 draft for Victor Wembanyama Day, Bradley Beal will still be a member of the Washington Wizards. So there you have it. NBA version of I'll Paint My Flag. That was a lot of fun. Now we'll move on to The Masked Singer. Season 8 begins tonight. I'm going to reveal my picks for the contestants. And the characters we have on this season's show are interesting too. I think I saw some like dragon character. What concerned me is that I saw like a small character. I don't know if that is actually a character or if that's a prop. But if that's a character, that could be like Elmo or something like that, for crying out loud. We saw Kermit the Frog on this show, don't forget. So I wouldn't be stunned if we saw an outside the box type of move like that again. I'm not predicting that it's definitely the case, but I wouldn't be shocked. Alright, my contestant predictions for the season. Lou Bega, singer of the song Mambo Number 5. Nobody knows what he's been up to lately, so why not? Michelle Branch. She was a popular singer in the early 2000s. Game of Love with Santana. She sang that song everywhere. She has a couple other songs. Millie Bobby Brown, actress, most notably known for Stranger Things. That'll get everybody excited. Although I think a lot of people will pick Kate Bush because of Running Up That Hill and how popular that song has become after coming out 30 years ago. But I'm going to say it's Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things that gets it. Kelly Clarkson, former American Idol winner, TV show host. I almost wanted to pick another television host, but I went with Kelly Clarkson instead because she's a singer and she's a TV host and she won Idol. And I feel like a lot of ex-Idol contestants have been on the show recently. Dion the Moochie, just known as Dion. Runaround Sue, The Wanderer, I Wonder Why. A lot of oldies but goodies for Dion. Anthony Fauci, White House medical advisor. Ken Jeong guessed him to be on the show a couple seasons ago. And I think this would get Ken excited that Fauci would be on the show because Ken guessed him and he got mocked for it. And it would just be really funny if Fauci were to be on the show. So instead of picking a politician, why not go with Fauci, who's actually retiring at the end of the year? Marsha Griffiths, singer of The Electric Slide. That'd be cool to see her. Jennifer Love Hewitt, actress and singer. She's been a popular guest in seasons past, so it'd be fun to have her on. Sean Kingston, a rapper, sings Fire Burnin', Beautiful Girls. Was very popular in the late 2000s. Eli Manning, former New York Giants quarterback and star of the Manning's broadcast. I know a lot of people have picked Peyton Manning in the past, so why not Eli Manning? That would just be a lot of fun. Maybe it's the Giants fan in me, like wishful thinking, but he's a big enough name to be on the show. Everyone and their mother has guessed Peyton Manning on the show, including myself a bunch of times. So why not Eli? Abby Lee Miller, Dance Moms. This would be a funny one. I think Dance Moms is coming back, if I'm not mistaken. That show's sort of making a comeback with a different cast, and Abby's still a part of it. So why not? Kylie Minogue, singer. She was very popular in the 80s. She sang Locomotion. She had songs in the 90s and early 2000s as well. Can't Get You Out of My Head was one of her songs. Jesse Palmer, former NFL quarterback and current TV show host. Obviously the host of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, was a quarterback in the NFL, ESPN college football analyst, GMA contributor. Matthew Perry, actor. Obviously we know him from Friends, so it'll be fun to see him on The Masked Singer. Robin Roberts, Good Morning America anchor. Lauren Spencer Smith, singer. Former Idol contestant. She sings that song Fingers Crossed that was on the radio several months ago. George Stephanopoulos, GMA anchor. This is my prediction for the double. Robin Roberts and George Stephanopoulos, the Good Morning America anchors. That'd be a lot of fun. George Strait, country singer. Obviously sings I Cross My Heart and one of his more recent songs, Honky Tonk Bar. Very big time country singer. Troubadour, Check Yes or No, Give It Away. Every Little Honky Tonk Bar. That's the name of that song. Jodie Sweetin, actress. We know her from Full House and Fuller House. I've picked Candace Cameron Bure a couple seasons, and I picked Scott Wagner in the past before. But why not Jodie Sweetin, who obviously plays Stephanie? And last but not least, the Wiggles. Children's band from the late 90s, early 2000s. They were a show. Fruit Salad, Dorothy, Dorothy the Dinosaur, Hot Potato, Hot Potato. They have a couple of memorable songs from their show. And I can see them totally doing the Wiggles. Because, like, who thinks about the Wiggles with the Masked Singer? There's always that one contestant or contestants that nobody thinks about that ends up on the show. I mean, Kermit's a good example of this. I wanted to pick Elmo to be on the show. I even thought about Mickey Mouse, but why not the Wiggles? That would be a lot of fun if the Wiggles were on there. And then I almost picked Kelly Ripa to be on the show, but I already had George Stephanopoulos, Robin Roberts, and Jesse Palmer as picks. So that'd be just weird predicting 4 people from ABC to be on the show. I thought about Dance Moms' Chloe Lukasiak as well, but I decided to go with her ex-dance teacher, Abby Lee Miller, instead. And then I also thought about Chloe's girlfriend, Brooklyn Hyori, the skateboarder. But I don't think she's that even well-known enough to be on The Masked Singer. But I think maybe down the road I could see her potentially being a candidate. But I honestly think that Chloe's more likely than Brooklyn. But I settled on Abby Lee Miller from Dance Moms, which would be a lot of fun. All right, so there you have it for Masked Singer thoughts. Now we'll move on to Survivor. That also begins tonight, 8 o'clock on CBS. So the tribes this year are Vessi, Coco, and Baca. Obviously, Jeff Probst is back as the host. The filming took place in Fiji for an 11th consecutive season. And like the previous 2 seasons, Survivor 43 is shortened, spanning in only 26 days due to COVID-19. That required all cast and production members to be fully vaccinated. And the filming began in May of 2022. So that is like right after season 4 or Survivor 42 ended. Or as it was ending. So May 2nd through the 27th. So the contestants, Cody Assenmacher from Honolulu, Hawaii. He's on Team Vessi, or Tribe Vessi. Justine Brennan of Marina Del Rey, California, on Tribe Vessi. Gio Bustamante of Honolulu, Hawaii, on Tribe Coco. Lindsay Carmine of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, on Tribe Coco. Cassidy Clark from Austin, Texas, on Tribe Coco. Carla Cruz Godoy of Newark, Delaware, on Tribe Coco. Neka Ajeri from Weatherford, Texas, on Tribe Vessi. Mike Gabler of Meridian, Idaho, of Tribe Baca. James Jones of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on Tribe Coco. Owen Knight of New Orleans, Louisiana, on Tribe Baca. Noelle Lambert, who is actually a track and field athlete and a snowboarder, from Manchester, New Hampshire, on Tribe Vessi. Sammy Layati, looks like she's the youngest of the tribe, 19 years old, from Las Vegas, Nevada, on Tribe Baca. Jesse Lopez of Durham, North Carolina, on Tribe Vessi. Ryan Medrano of El Paso, Texas, on Tribe Coco. Dwight Moore of Collierville, Tennessee, on Tribe Vessi. Elizabeth Ellie Scott of Salt Lake City, Utah, on Tribe Baca. Mariah Young of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Tribe Baka, and Janine Zhang of San Francisco, California on Tribe Baka. And she's also a young one on this show. So it's going to be an interesting season. The most famous contestant, obviously, Noelle Lambert. We'll see how far she goes. We have a couple from Philly, one from Delaware, from Newark, one from Honolulu. No, we have one from Honolulu. No, two from Honolulu. So that's also very interesting. So, going to be an interesting season, and we'll recap the show on the podcast tomorrow. All right, news and notes time. So this show's going a little bit longer than I anticipated. We'll start with the Yankees and the Aaron Judge Triple Crown chase. Obviously, it ties Babe Ruth. Judge also had an awkward curtain call because they were trailing in the game, and I don't think that the fans and Judge thought that they were going to come back, but they still wanted a curtain call for getting to 60. And some of the fans left. Not everybody left, but some fans left after 8 innings because they thought the game was over. And the ones who stayed, which was most of the crowd, and that was the loudest I've heard the crowd in a 4-run deficit 9th inning in a long time. And now he's in the lead in all the Triple Crown categories. As that home run he hit got him to 316 on the season. We'll see if he gets the Triple Crown or not, but that would be quite an accomplishment, as well as the home run record, assuming he gets it. Adam Sandler gives Aaron Judge a shout-out, so that was pretty cool. Garrett Cole is in line to get the ball in Game 1 for the Yankees. Despite his recent struggles, I think that's the right call. I know Nestor Cortez has been better than Cole this season, but Cole has more of a reputation that's positive. He's had success against the teams that the Yankees are supposed to be potentially facing in the first round of the playoffs. He destroyed the Guardians 2 years ago in the COVID playoffs. Although that roster looks entirely different, that team is worse than the team we saw 2 years ago in the bubble. He pitched well against the Mariners this season. I feel like he got rocked against the Blue Jays this year. He did, because I remember Vlad Jr. had the 3 home run game, and I think 2 of them were off of Garrett Cole. And he's done well against the Rays this season, too. And those are their possibilities in the divisional round, assuming they get the bye. Frankie Montas to the 15-day injured list with shoulder inflammation. That's a big loss for the Yankees. Part of me wonders if he's been pitching hurt. I know he's been bad since the trade, but part of me wonders if he's been pitching hurt. Some more baseball stuff. Shane McClanahan pulled against the Astros with shoulder discomfort. That is not good news for the Rays. We'll see if he ends up on the injured list. That would be a huge loss if that was to be the case. The Braves clinch a playoff spot after defeating the Nationals, one back of the Mets, so that division is still up in the air. We're going to get into some football now. Joe Hayden is retiring, as he'll sign a one-day contract to retire as a Brown. He had a fabulous career, Joe Hayden. Very underrated career. There's a Bears fan that went viral after their loss against the Packers, as he was down bad. The Pro Football Hall of Fame nominees are out. Darrelle Revis and Dwight Freeney among first-timers. Also, Chris Johnson, Joe Thomas, James Harrison, Navarro Bowman, Jaree Evans, and Shane Lechler. That is a good group of players right there. Giants head coach Brian DeBall encourages Giants faithful to bring the juice for Monday Night Showdown against the Cowboys. I think that's going to be a crazy stadium Monday night. I think there's going to be Cowboy fans in the building too because Cowboy fans travel well, and MetLife Stadium really doesn't have that much juice. But I do think the Giant crowd will show up because they're 2-0. They're a gritty team. They're not a good team, but they're a gritty team. And everybody loves the ball, and it's a night game. The Cowboys are in town without Dak. So I think there's a possibility that it'll be 90-10 Giants fans, but I think it's going to be 70-30 Giants because don't underestimate Cowboy fans' travels. Cowboy fans are everywhere. They're literally the Yankees of football when it comes to traveling fan bases. The Lakers are like this. I think even the Knicks are like this now, even though the Knicks are sort of irrelevant in terms of success. But they are relevant in success, but they're sort of irrelevant when it comes to popularity in a way. But I think they're low-key as relevant as the Lakers and the Yankees and the Cowboys when it comes to relevancy, and the Steelers and even the Boston Celtics. There's a couple teams I throw in that group of their fans travel everywhere. So, yeah, I really do think it's going to be a 70-30 Giants crowd. But if they were 0-2, it would have been 50-50. So, interesting, football news here. Bedlam rivalry to end in 2025 between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State when Oklahoma joins the SEC. That's sad, but not surprising. Because, Oklahoma is going to have a bunch of conference games and then some non-con games. And usually those rivalries do end. Like you saw the backyard brawl end, but that was brought back this year. So you see it all around the sport when a big team moves conferences. Top candidates for Nebraska's job: Kansas's Lance Leopold, Iowa State's Matt Campbell, and former Penn State and Texans coach Bill O'Brien. Obviously, Leopold's going to be in a lot of these rumors now because Kansas is undefeated. Some basketball news. Robert Williams out 4 to 6 weeks after he will undergo an arthroscopic procedure on his left knee that will keep him out of training camp. That is not good news for the Boston Celtics. Anthony Edwards fined for using offensive and derogatory language after he used anti-gay language on Instagram. Oof. So the Aces had their parade yesterday. Aja Wilson was vibing, and they had a great crowd as well. Hockey news: Nathan MacKinnon becomes the NHL's highest paid player, 8 years with 12.6 average million. So it's really 8 years, 100 million, and well deserved for McKinnon. Best player on the team that won the cup. Top 5 player in all the league. He might be my number 1 player coming into the 2022-23 season. We shall see about that, but well deserved for him. The Maple Leafs have a New Jersey ad, milk, as Toronto's New Jersey sponsor is literally a dairy company. Some soccer news. Busquets considers Inter Miami as the Barca legend and talks with Inter Miami ahead of expected departure next summer. So that's really interesting. And Pulisic describes being dropped for Havertz in the UCL semifinal. I was dumbfounded and very disappointed, he said. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I think that there's some interesting ways that I can go. Best bet lost, but I hit a money line last night. I just threw random dollars at some underdogs, and one of them was the New York Yankees sitting there at 27-1, down 4 runs against the Pirates, and I was like, why not throw $1 on it? And sure enough, big winner. But my best bet is a bounce-back team that's coming off a tough loss, and I see a lot of value in them. They're a home favorite, and as the Philadelphia Phillies, I'm going to lay a quarter unit on the Philadelphia Phillies minus 112 at home against the Toronto Blue Jays. No, this is not Yankee fan in me rooting for the Blue Jays to lose. I see value in the Philadelphia Phillies at minus 112 as a slight home favorite. And they're about 53% to win at Corey Span Analytics. So I see a little bit of value here with the Phillies. And like I said, I think that the even money line should be 47%. And the Blue Jays are less than that to win tonight. So give me the Phillies minus 112 at home against the Blue Jays for my best bet of the night. And I'll be back tomorrow recapping Survivor and Masked Singer. I'll paint my flag for the NHL. We have Thursday Night Football tomorrow between the Steelers and the Browns. We have college football tomorrow night featuring West Virginia against Virginia Tech, and a lot more to do on tomorrow's show. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.